Good morning, BookShark Bootcamp. It's your community manager, Jana. It is Wednesday, August 14th, and this is session 7, Avoiding Burnout. Now, you may think that, I don't know, already overwhelmed. You're already feeling burnt out and you haven't even started. And that is what I want to address today. I want to head off any feelings of overwhelm. For those who just joined boot camp, welcome. We are in session 7. Want to encourage you to go back and watch sessions 1 through 6 and get caught up. Lots of tips and tricks so that you can head off that feeling of overwhelm so that you can equip yourself for a successful homeschool year with BookShark. That is the purpose of this boot camp. But honestly, life happens and burnout, we've all felt it for whatever reason, whether it was your job, it was a sport, whether it was a hobby, whether it was a relationship, we all have felt burned out in something in our lives. And what we want to avoid is feeling burned out in homeschool. We've already made the decision to homeschool our children, to do education a little bit differently than maybe you and I have been taught. And so it can feel overwhelming and it can feel like you're a fish out of water. And take a moment and just breathe. We're going to just keep taking these moments to breathe because it's something that I think is so simple to do and yet it's easy to forget. So, how are we going to avoid burnout in this year of homeschool? You are going to set up your binder. You're going to do all of the steps from session 1 through 6 so that you feel like you are fully equipped to start the year. Using your working binder. Your working binder is taking out those couple of weeks and putting them in a smaller binder so that you're not constantly looking at the whole of your year. You're looking at bite-sized pieces. That's really important to remember. There isn't an instructor out there that walks around with the whole year's worth of curriculum all of the time. They may revisit it from time to time, but I'm guaranteeing you it's not constantly in the forefront of their mind. They're doing bite-sized pieces week by week, bit by bit, and that's what I want to encourage you guys to do. Also, remember to do that weekly planning. It doesn't even have to be a full 30 minutes. It's just getting yourself familiar with what's coming up for the week. It's really helpful. It's just getting your firm foundation for what you're going to be doing. That, I believe, is really going to help you avoid feeling burnt out throughout the year. Labeling your books is also a great suggestion. We've had some great pictures on how people have labeled their books. That is also in one of the sessions that you can watch and talk about how that is working for you. Maybe if you're uncomfortable with the idea, instead of labeling, just pull out the first couple weeks. There was a question about where to find the book list. The book list in every instructor's guide is under section 3. It's going to give you the list of books for that subject and then the week it's introduced. So get your calendar printed, get it filled out, get a good idea of what is ahead. And for those who haven't started yet, maybe you're apprehensive, maybe you're waiting for the boot camp to be over, I want to let you know that if you go to bookshark.com, go to the level that you selected. If you're doing an all subject package, it will be at the end of the page. If you're doing just a particular subject, it will be on that subject levels page, but it's going to tell you the daily hours required for that subject. Give you guys a really good idea of what to expect from your children and from yourselves. It's going to give you daily requirement and then parent requirements so that you can see what you're really getting into, really gauge what your days are going to look like, have a working understanding of what you're going to be doing day by day with BookShark to really make you feel like you can handle this. The more you know is what I believe. The more you know, the more prepared you are, the better you feel about what you're doing. And part of it is you just got to get in there and get your feet wet. But knowing the requirements for each level can also help set you up for success in the fact that you're not expecting your 8-year-old who's doing level B to do school for 6 hours a day. That's just not the expectation. So those daily requirements really kind of help guide you to set up your day, that then you can set up your week and you can have a better feel for your routine as you're moving closer to your start, or if you've already started and maybe it's not working out, go back and revisit those daily requirements to see if your expectation of your student or even of yourself is even close to being on point. It's important that we constantly kind of reevaluate and check ourselves. As instructors of lifelong learning, we have to be willing to learn too. So I want to just say, give you permission. It's okay that if you've started and it hasn't been going great, you don't know what you're doing, you feel overwhelmed, maybe just take a pause and go through these things and see if you have done all of the steps to get yourself fully prepared for what you are embarking on. Now, that being said, we want to make sure you're utilizing your instructor's guides properly. They are guides, not your dictator. They are laid out in a way that you can pull a book out, know what pages to read in that book, follow along, and know what questions to ask, the activities that are in the student pages for language arts and science are in your instructor's guide, but it really is important for you to read through or reread sections 1, 3, and 4. If you're feeling like you just are lost, go back and look those over because they'll give you the first one is a quick guide, a quick user guide. What does it look like? How is it set up? And then 4 is going to go into more detail. Section 4 is going to go into more detail about each of the components of your daily guide, your weekly guide, your daily schedule. So I want to encourage you with that. If you're prepared, I feel like it's a great way to head off feeling burnt out as you get started. But also, I don't want you guys to reinvent the wheel. You have chosen a pre-planned, fully planned curriculum for a reason. You have decided that you are going to trust us at BookShark to compile the list of books for you, to put the questions together, to put the geography in the curriculum, to put the timelines together. Just go ahead and trust that we have done that well. We are celebrating 10 years of homeschool excellence, and you guys get to be a part of that this year. So not only trust us at Bookshare, but trust the process of homeschooling. Just like when you choose a new workout, you do not feel like it's working immediately. It may take months to years to see the results of what's happening on the inside. And I want to remind you guys that education is very similar. You may not see the benefits for a long time. You may see immediate benefits. That's what we hope for, right? Your child's learning to read, recognize letters, then learning to read, doing more complex reading or complex science. They're working on math and growing and do work that's building on itself. But sometimes you don't really see the true benefit of your choice to homeschool until much later on. So trust the process, because as a mom who has graduated too and is taking one of her kids to college this week, I want you to know that you have made a great decision, and investing in your kids' education is one of the most important decisions that you can make, and you've made that. So trust the process. When you don't feel like you're seeing results, it's not working, you don't notice a difference right away, I just want you to come back to this and say, okay, Janet reminded me that I'm not going to see things immediately. My child may not be on board. They may not want to sit down and do the things that I have planned out for today. And that's okay. Part of avoiding burnout is planning those for those days that just aren't working out for you. When we talked about doing the calendar, we talked about a flex day each month. You also only have 4 days a week. So if you're having a bad day, you can always just move your week out one day. And you have the time and the space and the flexibility of BookShark to be able to do that. So something that I had to learn, and maybe it's one of those things that you don't learn until you have done it for years, but I want to give you permission again that you can do that even in the beginning. It's okay. Everything is going to work out. It's just going to take a little time, and there are bumps in the road, but you're going to get through them, and the path to education at home is going to smooth out once you get into a groove and a rhythm. Also, we have advisors that are available. Like myself, there are homeschool parents who have used this program for years with multiple children. If we haven't experienced it ourselves, we've definitely talked through it with each other or another customer who has called in to talk to us. So guys, give us a call. We're available Monday through Friday, 10 to 2 Mountain Time. You can always email, you can text, you can leave a message, you can actually click a link and find a time that works for you to talk to one of the advisors. But we can provide a listening ear. We can maybe provide some alternative solutions that you haven't thought of, maybe something that we've gone through that worked for us. Most importantly, we are here to encourage you. So you're not alone. If you're running up against a challenge and you need some help, reach out. Post it in the boot camp, post anonymously if you need to, that is totally fine. We just want to make sure that you know that you will be heard and you will be supported in the things that you need help with. Now, if you've noticed over here, I have a second sign that says homeschool your way. If you are unaware, BookShark does sponsor a podcast. It has 4 seasons thus so far, and it is a wealth of information. And I just want to let you guys know, it's just not me talking. It is the primary bulk of the podcast is a guest. So head on over to bookshark.com. Look for the podcast. You can find us on Apple and Spotify. It's called Homeschool Your Way. It's another great way to be encouraged. And when you're just feeling like you just can't do it another day, you can either find our podcast. There's tons of podcasts out there that you can listen to, and just know that you are not alone, that there are hard days, but you're going to get through them. Another thing that really helps you get through those hard days is remembering your why. Why did you choose to homeschool? It's very important. And if maybe it's a working definition, maybe it's an outline, maybe there's a reason why you homeschooled on paper, but you can't quite articulate it. I want you just to think about the fact that as you're as you're going through your days, as you're hitting the highs and the lows, it's important to remember that you chose this for a reason, to keep it out in the forefront of your mind, like goals, like, why are we doing this? Oh, that's right. We're doing this because A, B, and C. So it's another way to avoid burnout, because when you're having those hard days, you go, oh, it's okay. We're actually accomplishing the reason why we're homeschooling, even just by being home. So I hope that is an encouragement to you. Another great way to avoid burnout is do not compare. Not even to your friend who maybe have the same age child doing the same level of BookShark as you. Maybe you have twins like me and you'll see a vast difference in abilities in different areas. Just don't compare. I will guarantee you that those Instagram, TikTok reels, Facebook posts, they're edited. They're only showing you a snapshot of what they want you to see. They're not showing you the spilled milk, the crying baby, the piled up laundry, the dirty bathroom. Nobody's showing you those things because, well, nobody wants to show you those things. So they're there though. And remember, that's the reality of life. And even though we are choosing to homeschool, we're not removed from the reality of life. We are not putting on our Pollyanna glasses and believing that everything is just grand because we made this great choice. And then if you walk into it like that, you will be sorely disappointed, because life still happens. Your kids still are tired and crabby. There are days you just don't want to do anything. You didn't sleep well at night. The baby was up for whatever reason. Your mind was spinning in the middle of the night and you couldn't sleep for hours. I mean, there's so many things, but you're still doing life. And it doesn't mean that it's going to be perfect. So don't compare and don't live with your Pollyanna glasses on. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with your kids. If you're having a hard day, just tell them. They may not understand. You may not have to even explain the reason why, but you can be honest with your kids. And the more honest and authentic you are with your children, the more honest and authentic your children will be. So another way is to remember to set aside homeschool time. It's really easy to say yes to a lot of things when you homeschool, especially in the beginning, because you're so excited to do it all. When you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. And just make sure that what you're saying no to with your yes is important and it falls in line with your why, and it's going to help your children's education. So it's so easy to fall into the trap of everything looks good and sign them up for everything and doing all the things, but then you really cut your time short to actually do the work and to do the homeschool and to be learning with your kids, and not just reading the chapters and getting through the material, but helping them become critical thinkers, helping them look at what it is happening in each subject and relate it to life. So don't fall for all the new and shiny things, and make sure that when you schedule your time, you do it wisely. Try not to squeeze school in after you have done fun activities. I did public school for a while as a kid, and I can very distinctly remember coming back to the school after a field trip and the teacher popping in the VHS, yes, or I'm old enough that our teachers would put the reels on the film and it would spin and we'd have to pull the sheet down. I don't even know what it's called, projector. And so, um, when we would watch that till the end of class, if classically educated teachers can do that, we as homeschool parents can certainly give ourselves permission to do that. And if you want to feel better about it, it's pick something educational, pick a documentary, pick a movie of a book that maybe you didn't get to and you fully intended to, but go ahead and let them watch the movie instead. I mean, just keep it real. The more real you are, realistic in your homeschool, realistic in your expectations of yourself and your children, the more authentic experience you will all have in homeschooling. All right. Last but not least, and maybe the most important, is to remember to fill your cup. Remember who you are outside of parent, spouse, partner, homeschooling facilitator. You chose to do this very unique type of education, and you are now the driver, the Uber driver, you're the chef, you're the Instacart shopper, you are the cleaning person, you are the laundry person. I mean, all the things that could be outsourced by any number of people or organizations or systems you're now choosing to do on top of homeschool. So make sure that you're choosing to do the things that reconnect you with who you are. I love 90s music. I love putting on my 90s jam and just getting in the car when I'm driving, even if it's just driving to the grocery store. And now, you can put earbuds in when you're in the grocery store and you can bebop down the aisles. Like, who really cares if it's listening to audiobooks, something that you enjoy, whether fiction or nonfiction? That's something that you can do. Make sure you schedule in breaks for yourself. We talked about the 2010 for our kids, but it's also important for you. If you're having a moment, you need to just have a signal, a safe word, if you will, with your kids. Like, hey, mommy just needs a minute. Daddy just needs a minute. Go outside, breathe some fresh air in. Do what you need to do daily so that you feel connected with who you are, so that you can remember the reason why you're doing what you're doing. So, daily breaks, weekly connection with your person, whether that is your spouse, a family member, a bestie. Make sure that you are weekly connecting with your person to feel supported, to bounce ideas off of, to just fill your cup back up. It is very important. You are going to be giving out to your children daily, and you need to make sure that you set up, be intentional ahead of time to refill. Because just like when your gas tank is getting low, you can keep going on fumes. You can keep hoping you're going to make it to your next destination. But that anxiety is building, either consciously or subconsciously. So don't let that happen to you as you homeschool this year. And then monthly. Monthly, I want to make sure that you are being intentional to connect with other adults outside your home. This is also very important. And if you are in a position where you need to do that via the computer, so be it. If you can't get out, there's so many reasons why people can't get out. Single parents are homeschooling, full-time working parents, they're co-parenting, so many different situations. But a monthly intentional meetup, whether virtual or in person, whether in your house or out of your house, make sure that you put that on your calendar. You're going to thank me in a couple months. I promise. We're going to come back to it. I'm going to see where you guys are at. We're going to do a check-in and see how that works. I have a bestie flying in next month. It's about 30 days from now to come spend a weekend with me, because I was crying to her today about how my two oldest are leaving, and one already went last week. She went back to Colorado, and the other one is going to college tomorrow. So yeah, I'm a little bit of a wreck. And so I know that I need some support. And so called her up and I was like, hey, come to my new place. I will take you to the beach. Now, that's my monthly. What I did today was I made sure I scheduled a break during my workday. Then I actually went to the beach and I sat on the beach and I got in the ocean and got rocked by some waves for a little bit. And then I came home to finish up my workday. That was my daily today. That I have my monthly scheduled. And then my husband and I really make a point to do something together weekly, because yes, you're seeing each other hopefully every day, or depending on your schedules, maybe not every day. But setting aside time to intentionally connect, and again, if you don't, it doesn't have to be your spouse, it could be whoever your person is. These are the things that are going to help you through your year as you're dedicating your time to your children in a way that you never have before. I hope this has been helpful. I am probably have gone way too long, but I wanted to make sure that you guys really understood the importance of taking time to be prepared, to be intentional about what you're going to do for you, and to know that this is going to be a great year and you're going to have hard days, but it is totally worth it. I will see you guys on Monday for our Q&A. If you have any questions, make sure you post them. I'd love to hear your comments about today's session. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.